vlogging. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be a very highly requested one. It is my riding story. Ignore my mum on the phone in the background. This is the only time I can do it. Do the intro. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit jimble jamble. There'll be a lot of cutting in, cutting out, and I'm gonna kind of film these in-person clips as I go along. My mother just came in. So because this video has been very highly requested, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more. And yeah, without further ado, let's get on to the video. It will be a voiceover with some photos. So here is little infant Ella on her first day of school. I've got no idea how old I was in the photo. Then we move on to my first ever riding lesson. It wasn't really a lesson because it was my sister's birthday party and my mum lied about my age to the riding school as I had before, but I was actually 3. We literally just walked around a field and then sat on some straw bales with some party food. I've just put my phone, look at me. It's in front of a glass. Hang on. Right, so then after, because I don't have many photos from my first riding lesson to like when we first got Leah, I'm just going to explain a few things. So we started off at Mottingham Farm down in London. It was a lovely riding school. Didn't have the best like menage or facilities for us at the time. And I think they were pretty booked up. So we only had a few lessons there. So once we had our last few lessons at Mottingham Farm, we then found a riding school that was closer to us, which was more convenient. And yeah, so that's when we started riding at Mount Maskell. So we did a lot of stuff at Mount Maskell. We did our D tests, we did like help out, we were little helpers for them. We used to get the little ponies in for their lessons. And we used to obviously have lessons, be part of their pony club, etc, etc. And we did that for years, literally ever since I can remember. I remember one of the times I literally got mum to drive me up to the yard an hour early than my lesson was because I just wanted to sit and watch the horses. Like, that's how dedicated I was. No, but yeah, that was really good whilst we were kids. And then in the next few slides, it will be when we first got Leah. So look at this fashionista here. A little background information. Obviously, having a horse is a massive, massive commitment. And our parents wanted to make sure that we were 100% committed because you can't just buy a horse and then sell it 2 weeks later if your kids fall out of interest at the young age. So because Leah was Molly's first pony, Molly actually had to help out at the riding school for 2 years before she was able to get a pony. She had to save up her own money to buy Leah. She didn't save up all of the money. Obviously, my parents contributed, but she had to save up quite a lot for a young child. And she also had to make like a PowerPoint presentation on how to look after a horse. So all of this obviously led us to be able to get Leah. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that my journey with Leah and at the start of my riding career was plain sailing in the slightest. So I had quite a lot, I fell off quite a lot at the riding stables on the school horses. And when we first got Leah, I wouldn't even trot her. I'd walk around, but I'd be so terrified that she was going to run off with me that I wouldn't do anything. I remember going up into Chalk Woods, and we were going up this really steep hill. And obviously, when horses go up steep hills, they have to take shorter steps. But I literally was so convinced that she was going to trot and run off of me. I started crying, I got off, and I went back to the yard that Leah was kept at. I was absolutely petrified of horses at this point. So fast forward like a year or so, we actually spent the whole 6 weeks summer holidays up in Norfolk with Leah on a livery yard. It was such a good time and it really got my confidence up. As you can probably see in a few of these photos, I started jumping, I started trotting her again. And you know what the craziest thing is, and I still don't understand it, was I was allowed to ride this massive, massive horse. She was called Izzy. She was honestly the loveliest horse there was. But I was allowed to do some evening show jumping competitions on her, so I did a few of them, and she came away with like seconds and thirds, and obviously that was really, really good for my confidence at the time because I literally had no confidence on horses at all because I just always thought they were going to run off with me. Obviously, when I was this age and on the big BFG. I was obviously on a lead rein, but so when we came back from the 6 weeks holiday, obviously because Leah wasn't mine, Molly was always riding her, and Mum was riding her, so I didn't really have anything to ride. So there was this little pony called Monty at my yard, who the owners let me kindly ride, because I didn't even have Blaze at this point. And then finally, on the 2nd of October in 2013, I got my little pony Blaze. He was the best first pony for me, even though he used to chuck me off left, right and centre about 5 times a week. I just loved him to bits though. I never wanted to get up with him. So I wasn't aware that I was even getting Blaze. He was an early Christmas present, a very early Christmas present. My mum had shown me his ad and said, "Oh look, do you like the look of this pony?" And I'd said, "Yeah, I love him." Mum said, "Oh, he's out of our budget and we can't get him, he's too much for you and stuff." Little did I know, Molly went and tried him with my parents, and then they bought him, and it was really, really sweet. We came up to the stables, and Mum was like, "Oh, go get a hang out of Leah's stable for Leah." Went round into the stable. There was a little sign up at the back of the stable saying "Merry Christmas, Ella," and then Blaze had some tinsel around his neck. And the cheeky pony, like he was, literally got him out of his stable, and he dragged me over to some grass, and then I tried to tie him up, and then he ran off. He literally pulled the lead rein out of my hand and ran off up the field, and went to meet the Shetland that was up there. So if you would have followed my Instagram for ages, you would know that my journey with Blaze was not plain sailing in the slightest. As I've just mentioned, he chucked me off so much. He lost so much of my confidence, and people were saying to us, "Oh, you need to sell that pony. He's too much for your daughter. He's going to end up hurting her." Like, we went down to a show. I was in the warm-up just talking to Mum, just standing on him. He got down on his knees and rolled with me on him, and his saddle and his bridle and everything, and you couldn't get him up. He was so naughty. So this photo holds a lot of funny memories now, but it was a scary one at the time for little Ella. This was our first show together, and this was fence number 1 in the nursery stakes. So it was all cross poles, tiny, 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 easy. He could literally walk over it. He trotted into this first one, and he then proceeded to gallop off, and he galloped round and round and round the school about 4 times, jumping all of the jumps that were on the track, until an instructor came in and was like literally shouting, "Turn him in a circle, turn him in a circle." And I literally had to turn him really, really tightly in a circle so that then she could grab onto his reins and stop me. And then I literally got off and I cried and cried and cried to my mum. So yeah, that was a lovely first show for us. So after that show, I took a good few months off of competing because he scared me. In all fairness, I did not trust him in the ring at all. And we literally did loads of in-hand stuff. We just worked on our bond and our partnership and just didn't do anything that was going to overphase me or him. And it did work out in the end. We did a few little fancy dresses like you'll see in some of the photos. We just did a little bit of jumping at home until I got the measure of him and I got control, and he knew that he couldn't misbehave with me. So then we had to move yards. Me and Molly just needed some more help with our riding and progression. So it was the best move for us. We actually moved to Mount Muscles. And then this photo is of Blaze and I at our 2nd or 3rd competition, I think. And it was our first placing, our first ever rosette. It all went to plan, and he did a little clear round in I think it was the nursery stake, so it was still just cross poles on the floor. But nevertheless, I was so, so happy with him, especially to go out in the outdoors, like in a field, just jump round. It was so, so good. The previous photo was taken at the May Day show, and this was in August of that year. This was the first Summer League show, and Blaze chucked me off. Did one of his special acts like he's going to run up to the jump and then dip his shoulder and turn very sharply. So I was out the side door. But this summer was so beneficial for us. We really got it together, and we ended up actually winning the Summer League, which I was so proud of. We won a trophy, we won a medal, I think, and a rosette, and it was all really, really good. So yeah, and I will just like insert some photos of the summer and what we did. We did some dressage, we did some showing, we just did loads and loads of stuff, and it really, really helped us out massively. Just thought I'd also mention that perfect lower leg in that photo. I'm only joking. And then look, it's Izzy again. I got to ride Izzy again. I took her out for some hacks. I didn't compete her actually. I think I literally just took her on some hacks a couple of times. But yeah, I loved that BFG. I could honestly sit here for days and show you so many throwback photos of me and the horses, me and Blaze and everything. But I think you'd all be bored out your minds. And yes, so after that summer we came back. This is when me and Blaze really started to get it together. We went to loads of local shows. We were winning loads of stuff. Like, he'd have his off days, but majority of the time he would behave for me, and we got pretty serious in the show jumping aspect. And I'll show you some photos of us winning some little sashes. He was still a pig. Like, he still would chuck me off when I was least expecting it. So if I wasn't riding him when we went into a fence, he wouldn't do it for me at all. But yeah, we qualified for the Sunshine Tour. We went to the Sunshine Tour. We actually would have won our class if Blaze's legs hadn't slipped out underneath him. And it's annoying that I don't have a video to show you. But we did such an awesome turn, and because of we were jumping on grass and the ground was really bad, his legs like slipped out underneath him, so he like crashed through the fence. But it's easy to sit there and say that you would have won. And then yeah, we just carried on doing loads of pony club stuff, loads of riding club, because we were actually in the riding club. And we affiliated him. We gave him, he didn't actually have a show name, so we gave him the name I Am Blaze. So if you look up his affiliated record, it's not the cleanest by any means, but he did what like I needed for the time. And I'm so grateful that I did have him for the first pony, and I didn't like give up with him when everybody said that we should sell him, because he ended up like honestly making me the rider I am today. If it hadn't been for Blaze, I don't think I would be near enough confident as I am today to sit to all of Jarvis's antics. But yeah. So here are the photos of the sashes and the trophies and everything we won. That first photo was actually taken on my birthday. And this is the Hickstead. Oh my God, 2015. Jeez, that was like 2 years after I'd had him. And that was dressage. I was winning the dressage championships. But yeah, honestly, couldn't be more thankful for this pony. He did a lot for me. Moving on, the next few photos are going to be of when Leah was actually out with her injury. So I was riding this little Palomino pony called Haribo, and there's Molly on Blaze. Leah actually did her annular ligament, and it took us a while to find out what it was, because we kept on taking her to the vet, and then she'd trot up sounds, so we had to take her home, and then she'd go lame on a soft surface and everything. So we tried to let it heal by itself, but we couldn't. It just never came right, so we operated on it, and then she had some time off, and that's when Molly got Max. If any of you know Max from Molly's account, then you should know what happened to him, but I'll get into that later on in the video. And yeah, Leah was just like a little pet for the time being. I was like getting a bit big for Blaze, but I was still alright on him weight wise. So when Leah came back into work, Leah would be mine to ride. And I'd still ride Blaze, but he'd just have a quieter life. We then got Dad's horse Logan, who's on the right, and you can see Max on the left. I don't think I'm going to explain what happened to Max right now. I think I'm going to wait until we're further on in the video. But we then brought Leah back into work, and I was riding her. Some of the photos here were taken at the New Year's Day show. I did a lot of pony club on her, and then it all kind of kicked off from here. Leah was really, really consistent. She was such a good little pony to go BS on, so I did some BS with her. And then the woman who owns the livery yard, who we went up to in the 6 weeks holiday, had a BS pony who was a JC at the time, I believe. He'd won blue chip and everything, but he'd gone sour to show jumping. So we went out there one weekend, and she let me compete him in a little weekend show jumping competition, and I adored him. literally loved that pony to bits. I couldn't stop speaking about him to mum and stuff, and then I actually got the ride on him, and he really kicked it off for me in junior show jumping. He jumped all the big tracks with me. He jumped up to the JAJC Sparkle, which was like 125. I was bricking it, but he just did it for me. He was so good. And I loved him, and still to this day I really want to buy him. But he did end up going to a lovely, lovely family. And we still keep in contact with him. We still get sent loads of videos of them at like any NSEA show jumping competitions. So yeah, I'm really happy for him, but these are like some photos of me riding him. So it's a little bit later on in the day, and I think I'm going to do 2 parts because I've just filmed it all and it's like 45 minutes long, so I think I'm going to end this one here. But keep a close eye out on our next few videos, because my riding story part 2 will be out very soon. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and keep an eye out for the next one. And I'll see you next time. Bye.